Hi everybody, DJMK here, and welcome to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. Before we get to that, just want to say to everybody, happy Philly Pride, and happy Odunde. I mean, as soon as I got back from Philly, I just basically hibernated for almost 3 hours, so I was craving peanuts, but we ran out of them, so tied myself over with watermelon for now. Yum. But anyway, how is everybody doing? I mean, today seems to be like a big thing for everything really. Today's the first day of E3, the Microsoft conference happened, though I was not online for that. Obviously also Philly Pride, and then finally, it is a festival that I've been to for the last decade, almost a decade, as of this year, Odunde. Now, Odunde, in case you're wondering what that is, it is a festival based on various traditional African religions, mainly, or philosophies. Some people call it religion, other people call it a philosophy or a way of life. Mainly Ifa, Lukumi, Santeria, and various other variants of this, voodoo, various variants of that. In particular, it is supposed to honor Oshun, goddess of prosperity and the river of fresh water. The song that I'm playing right now is from Final Fantasy 13-2, called New Bodun by the late Viorica. So if anybody is curious about that song, it's a really nice one. I played it a lot, especially during big events like these. It's just one of the big feel-good songs of the year, or just one big feel-good songs, period. So yeah, anyway, Odunde and Philly Pride have had big anniversaries this year. For Philly Pride, this is its 30th anniversary, though I wasn't able to go to Philly Pride. It was a different area of Philly, so I wasn't able to go. Philly Pride's been around for 30 years. Guess how long Odunde's been around for? 43. Yeah, it's been created 43, it's been made 43 years ago, and it was started by a woman by the name of Lori Hernandez. She was 43, actually, when she first started organizing and getting grants to make a celebration every year on South Street. And this year, it's the first year that she's no longer around for it, because she passed away just after Odunde last year, in late August, and she was about 86, 87. So they dedicated the intersection of 2400 Street and South Street as Lori Hernandez Way. So it felt very spiritually significant today. I have some video footage that I'm going to put into a vlog. I originally was going to try and post it this afternoon, but I got so tired that it might be just after this live stream or maybe tomorrow morning that I post it. But either way, it's going to be soon. So, in fact, let me go on chat right now. Because I'm not up on chat on either one of my mediums. Okay, so YouTube's working okay. And, well, YouTube's experiencing a little issue right now. I mean, it's also using low latency, but it's not as it seems to be not as efficient as compared to Twitch's low latency. So, okay, so I've got no viewers on either channel, but that's okay. That is okay. We're just gonna relax and have a really, really good time today. I mean, I'm just happy, really, just to be here and play with you. So, Hopefully you all have a great show, or at least enjoy the show. I'm still kind of feeling a little bit of the high from Odunde. It was very much a feel-good kind of event. And it kind of amazed me how, just how much of a spiritual significance today just felt like. And of course, there's also been some trailer releases as well. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 in particular, I've been really excited about because, we've been waiting for so many years to get some update on that, and we finally have. So, so the fact that we finally have something about that is just great. Like 2 more trailers came out for that for today. No doubt, I think Square Enix's conference is 2 days from now. We'll get loads more on that, which I am totally excited for. I'm probably going to watch it live. Maybe I'll do a reaction here as well. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get right to it. Odunde, my vlog on that will be coming soon. Shout out to Rebecca Theodore. Did not know you were showing up in Philly today, so I hope you enjoyed both Philly Pride and Odunde. But yeah, without further ado, let us get rolling. So, my voice is pretty loud, so that's why I'm kind of been adjusting my vocal settings a bit more. Finally got Restream's chat function to function. I'll clerk in. Okay, recorded video will be up after stream is done. Okay, so got no viewers right now, but that's understandable. It's not when I usually stream. It tends to be like earlier in the afternoon for me, but because obviously I was in Philly, I couldn't do much. So, without further ado, here is Cinderella Phenomenon again. So, but how's everybody doing today? And really, how is everyone doing today? Don't lie to me. Alright. I don't know why. Like it's so epic with the opening. But I bet like the crystal that she's holding in the middle is like the, yeah, like it kind of looks like the Tenebrarum. Lucette Britain, that's her name. That's her full name. Interesting. I mean, pretty much unless it obviously states that it's okay for me to change the character's name. Pretty much I tried to keep as much of the original name of the character as much as possible.
The bridge of fantasy, all the pain and sadness that you feel. Believe in me, hold me close, don't ever let me go. Come and stay with me forever. Magic lives so long as I am here.
Alright. So, in the last episode, well, we pretty much got targeted by Sir Alcaster again, and he seems to know that we were the original crown princess of Angiel. On top of that, we come across a number of bombshells, with the fact that Lucette's mother was the bearer of the Tenebrarum and the one who started the Great War, which in turn triggered the Fairytale Curse. And she is next in line to bear Tenebrarum. And the main reason why she was cursed with the Fairytale Curse was to ensure that she would not become her mother. But with a lot of the actions that she's done so far, namely the fact that she's done her first good deed, and the kindness that she's been showing to Rod and stuff, it's pretty much proved that Lucette's nothing like her mother, and she swore to make sure that that will never come to pass. But recently, Sir Alcaster has harassed Lucette. Harassed is actually a pretty mild word. I'll say maybe hinted that he's pretty conscious of who she is, and she doesn't really know whether Fritz, who's also affected by the Fairytale Curse, was the one who kind of instigated what's going on, or he just happened to come across it by himself, or with Sir Mithros, or just Mithros. I'm actually kind of mad at him. I didn't feel like using his title when I wrote the description, but but anyway, to tell Rod or not to tell Rod? That is our Shakespearean question of the day for Cinderella Phenomenon, my friends. So, it's like on the one hand, he knows that like Sir Alcaster has kind of gone after Lucette more than once. This is like not the first time he's done this. But on the other hand, we don't want to worry him too much. We want to focus more on trying to get our job done. Because if he knows, then maybe it might make things worse before things get better. But on the other hand, though, considering that he also has a Fairytale Curse and he kind of understands the threat that he's under, it may not be a bad idea to have a second person on our side. This is a really tough call. Because on one hand, I don't want to worry him too much. But on the other hand, though, he needs to know, especially if he's in danger. You know what? I've saved here. If I don't like where it's panning out, I mean, so far I haven't, actually, with the way it's panning out. But in case I really don't like this path, or I don't like the reaction, I'll just go back and try a different one. So, I'm leaning towards telling him. Let's do it. We gotta be honest with him here. And I think he'll believe you at this point, because they've been together for a while. Sir Alcaster knows that I am the princess. Do you think he's the witch that Laura was talking about? I whisper the words to him, and he responds by raising his eyebrows, looking surprised. I might say that. This isn't just because of the standoffish way he acts, is it? You don't believe me. Rod sighs. I never said that I didn't. It's just that we can't blindly accuse anyone without any real proof. Rod stares at me for a few moments, then closes his eyes, his eyebrows slightly furrowed with thought. You know what? This is actually the first time I'm gonna reverse a decision. Ooh, whoops, no. I'm gonna actually undo the decision I just made, and I'll choose not to tell him, because that didn't seem to go too well. Plus, Lucette determining that Sir Alcaster's the witch, it's an incorrect conclusion. I already am pretty sure it's probably Mithros. Considering how complex magic works, how complex of a magic spell that, like, Parfait was kind of implying. So, we'll say to not tell him. Plus, we could kind of give Fritz the benefit of the doubt. It's entirely possible that he's an entirely innocent party in this, and Alcaster's kind of tooling with him. So, not tell him. Nothing. I doubt he'll make any effort to trust what I have to say. He's always skeptical of me. Rod furrows his brows at me. You expect me to believe that? Either way, he's doubting you. Okay. I'm not even sure that I'm right. I would not want to accuse anyone without any proof. If you want this partnership to work, you should learn to trust me. Do you even trust me? I don't need to like someone in order to trust them. So, are you going to tell me or not? All I can say for now is that we need to be careful around Sir Alcaster. He knows who I am. Rod stares at me for a few moments before finally nodding. Whatever you say. Anyway, I must leave now. I have a dance to practice for. Dance? But you already know how to dance. What do you have left to practice? Rod does not answer and only walks away. I decide to follow after him. Why did you follow me? I shrug. I wanted to see you practice. To be honest, I want to see him dance. I already know that Emmeline is very clumsy when it comes to dancing, but outside of the one practice with Emmeline, I've never seen Rod dance. Emmeline always gloats on his behalf, but I've yet to witness Rod's supposed talent with my own eyes. Our dance together was so short I barely had time to judge him. I did not practice with an audience. Why? It is my preference, and I apologize. My dad is sharpening something in the kitchen. Anyway. Rod is easily embarrassed. Rod groans and pinches one of Sebby's cheeks, glowering. Sorry? Rod reluctantly releases the bunny with a sigh. I notice you've been talking more lately, Sebby. That's because Rod here has been saying things that contradict what he thinks or feels. Sebby makes a sound of defeat as Rod once again pinches one of his cheeks. She's smirking! Oh my god! Oh my goodness. I love this game already. It's just my gosh. I mean, I would have kept going with it. I mean, like, Lucette's personality in the beginning alone would have made me stop. Like, if it was any other game. But because I wanted to see how this panned out, I had to keep going. Anyway. Rod stares at me with wide eyes, and I stare back, beginning to panic. What is wrong? You smiled again. I put a hand to my mouth, flushing. I was smiling again? I never even noticed. It was a pretty smile, Princess. Right, Rod? Oh my god. Goodness, these two are so adorable. Rod quickly turns away, cheeks slightly pink. I'm sorry. I need to practice now, so I would appreciate you leaving. He did not even command me to leave. What a surprise. Emmeline said you were a really good dancer. I want to see with my own eyes. Why? So you can judge me? Well, she says she's a better dancer than him, but you know what? Let's be nice. I'm not here to judge you. Why else would you be so keen on watching me? I'm mostly curious. Curious? I wanted to know how good you really were. Then yes, you are judging me. I hold out my hand and he stares, looking taken aback. I should not be scolded for only being curious. Why not just one little dance to prove how talented you are? Rod stares at me for a few minutes before reluctantly taking my hand. Fine. You better not step on my feet. Rod starts leading the dance. He glides us into the imaginary rhythm of a waltz. Even without the music, I'm able to count the steps in my head as I follow his lead. This is different from the short dance which we showed Emmeline. Rod's movements are graceful, his touch gentle as he leads me to an underarm twirl. When I come to face him again, I notice the gentle way he stares at me. The usual hardness of his expression is gone, melted into something relaxed. I find myself staring back at him, looking into his eyes. Perhaps Rod does have some gentleness to him. Our gaze does not break as he twirls me. You have beautiful eyes. Rod's eyes widen as soon as mine do. He abruptly lets go of my hands and steps back. I can only stare at him, my face warm. It wasn't me this time! That was more than just a thought, I swear! Oh, poor Rod. Rod says nothing, though his cheeks continue to darken with embarrassment. Oh my! Rod and I turned to look at Emmeline, who was hovering by the door. Oh God! Excuse me. Rod quickly walks through the doorway and out into the hallway, leaving Emmeline and I alone in the room. What just happened? You're falling in love, that's what. That was a wonderful dance, Lucette. You were watching? I only just saw the last few minutes, but, you know, two of you really did look like a couple. It was sweet. A couple? Oh, you're blushing! I put a hand in my cheek and turned away with a scowl. I am not. A few shots earlier says otherwise, come on. Anyway, besides, whatever just happened was embarrassing. Do you like Rod? I stare at her. I do not. Plus, also you're forgetting that I'm a maid who could not be with the prince even if I wanted to. He's grumpy and cold. And even though we're not blood related, he's still my stepbrother. If only Emmeline realized how crazy her words were in the light of the truth. Emmeline started sounding like starry-eyed and she giggles at me. Love knows no boundaries, dear Lucette. Besides, he seems to like you. Your brother hates me. Rod can be a contradiction sometimes. Sometimes he says the opposite of what he feels. It's only when you get to know him well as I do that you realize what his truths are. I can't help but think of Sebi, who always speaks Rod's thoughts aloud when they are contradictory. He was always so mean to Viorica when we were young. He would always bully her for being a crybaby, even though he cried far more often. But then I realized he treated her more special than he did anyone else. Back then, I knew that he liked her. I thought one day the two of them might even grow to love each other. But Emmeline lets out a lost sigh as she directs her attention out the window. Okay, here we go. We got some juice. His attitude toward her has changed ever since he was cursed. Then they grew even more distant when Viorica found a lover. Is that the reason why you've been going to the toy shop with Prince Rod? Because you want to bring them back together? Emmeline nods. The three of us were best friends. The Three Musketeers. It's not the same without Rod. I keep on asking him what's wrong, but he refuses to tell me. He's always been stubborn, but it's not like him to keep secrets. It's really frustrating because I have no idea what I should do to help him. I thought he was just being stubborn with me, but apparently no amount of prodding, even from his own family, will make him budge. Why is it being so difficult? I hope you don't mind me asking, but what do you know about his curse? Emmeline stares at me for a few moments before nodding. You're my friend, Lucette, and I know that I can confide in you. I know sometimes I'm not trusting enough, but I think Emmeline is still far too trusting. We only know that he has the mermaid's curse. I've read the story so many times, hoping that I could figure out some way to break his curse. I think back and I realized that I actually had read the beginning of The Little Mermaid a long time ago, but I didn't have the chance to finish it because I was caught by Mother. The Little Mermaid is about the mermaid who trades her voice for legs, right? Yes, she does it so that she could be with her prince. Rod's voice was taken away, but I'm sure that he was given something in exchange. I've heard that the curses are derived from the original tales, but they're twisted in some way to fit the format of a curse. I nod slowly, thoughtful. So that makes sense why Lucette, what Lucette went through then, and why she's able to kind of still have some semblance of normalcy within the town. Anyway, I have a strong feeling that Rod's curse is related to Viorica, but I can't draw the connection. But still, Viorica might be the key to understanding his curse. If Rod will not divulge anything, the next best chance we have of understanding his curse might be going through Viorica. Investigation time! Oh, I knew it! Chapter 7. Be careful what you wish for. And to the 2 new viewers on Twitch, welcome! We are playing Cinderella Phenomenon. Today is the first time that I'm leaving the palace on a day off. Usually I choose to stay inside. Whereas the other servants always leave to go home, I never see any reason to leave, since this has always been my home. And the Marchant has never been home. Besides, not as if I want to return, not after that conversation we all shared last time. Thus, I've spent most of my days asking questions about Mother's reign, inquiring when and where I can. The opinions do not surprise me. I was so scared of her. One wrong move and she'd have you thrown in prison. The townsfolk will always wait for her to pass by before leaving their houses. She was a tyrant. The kingdom is a better place now that she's gone. There's no reason for them to lie to me. The more I hear it, the more my old life makes sense to me. I now know why the king never seemed to love Mother and why the people hated her. And the reason people looked at me with such fear. However, it's been months since I've been glared at in public. If there's one good thing that this curse did for me, is that it allows me to travel around town without being noticed. As Viorica's shop comes into view, my thoughts shift to the reason why I've left the palace in the first place. If Rob would not tell me anything, I will have to ask Viorica. She must be related in some way to his curse. I pause outside the door to the toy shop. With a deep breath, I push the door open. Welcome! The moment she sees me, her expression becomes confused. Oh, you're the princess's maid. Lucette, wasn't it? I nod at her. You've never come in here alone before. What can I help you with? I wanted to ask you something. It is about Prince Rod. Prince Rod? Did something happen to him? Is he okay? He's fine. She sighs with relief. Oh boy. I'm getting nervous now. Then, what is it you would like to ask? I just wanted to know if you knew anything about Prince Rod's sudden muteness. Viorica stares at me for a few moments before she shakes her head. I only know it happened soon after I met my fiancé, Desmond. What reason do you have for asking? Well... I try to think of a possible explanation for this, and I immediately consider Emmeline. Viorica's Emmeline's best friend. Surely she would be willing to help if she knows doing this for Emmeline. Prince Rod has been very quiet recently. Princess Emmeline's worried sick about him, but he refuses to say anything, even to her. I've been trying to gather information that might be helpful in discerning the cause. I stare at her expectantly, hoping my gaze holds nothing but determination. Finally, Viorica smiles. She's lucky to have a dedicated friend like you. I'm still not accustomed to the fact that Emmeline considers me a friend. To be honest, me either. But, hey, having a friend is better than having nobody. Before she became the princess, I was her first confidant. We were like sisters. But now she's living in the castle, we no longer have the luxury of spending so much time together. I worry about her constantly. Even around me, Em always tended to keep her problems to herself at first. She doesn't like to bother other people with them. That I can relate to. It's not hard to agree. But the way Emmeline was always smiling before, I never thought she had any problems in her life. It was only recently that I discovered she was hiding all her loneliness and pain behind a smile. It's a relief that she's befriended someone who cares so much about her. I don't know if I could be much help, but I'll tell you what I know if it will help Emmeline. To start with, I'm not exactly sure how everything changed, but it all happened so suddenly. All I know is that after the night I met Desmond, our relationship changed. At first he still smiled, but recently he's been avoiding me. What happened between the two of you the night you met your fiancé? Nothing. Rod and I did not meet on that day. Prince Rod wasn't there? No, but soon after what happened that night, Rod grew distant. This is starting to really click with the original fairy tale, because the original fairy tale, it does not end well. It's very tragic. The Little Mermaid basically gives up her voice in exchange for legs. Some variants it's just a singing voice. Other variants it's usually everything: speaking, singing, zip. But anyway, gives up her voice for legs, and then in addition, well, in some versions as well, she's also handed a dagger. No, wait, no, that's later, actually. And she hopes to court her prince and eventually marry. But then she finds out that the prince is in love with somebody else. And then her sisters exchange their long flowing locks for a knife to take out the opposing fiance and take their place. But she doesn't have the heart to do it, and so she dives back into the water and turns into sea foam. Or that sunset of the third day thing turns into sea foam kind of thing. So, but this really starts to really feel like that, especially with the fact of how sudden Desmond showed up just after Ra got cursed. It's very similar. What happened? It was a stormy night and I was heading back home. I took the route by the riverbank because it was the shortest route. It was foolish of me. The road was slippery and full of mud. I lost my footing and fell into the water. The waves were strong and I was certain I was going to drown. I don't remember what happened in the darkness of that water, only that when I woke up, my head was in Desmond's lap. That was the first time we met, but not the last. He carried me home and he came by every day as I was recovering. And then he came to visit even after I recovered. I tried not to get my hopes up too much, but because what could this nobleman see in me? A mere commoner? You should be Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton. They were commoners before they got married to princes. Well, then again, this was like the feudal era. That was not that common, but you get my point. Anyway. But I still ended up falling in love with him. You have no idea how happy I was when he said he loved me too. It was a dream come true. Of course, every girl dreams of marrying a prince. It was all in the fairy tales that I read as a child. None of that was all related to the rod. How does this relate to his curse? Of course, Lucette doesn't know the entire story, so she doesn't know that portion. You said your relationship with Prince Rod changed after that night. What happened? Viorica sighs. I told Em and Rod about Desmond soon after the incident. Em was happy the two of us fall in love, but Rod didn't say much of anything. That was when I noticed he started growing distant, and when I realized that he'd also lost his voice. He still won't tell me anything, but I figured that he was... Her voice fades, but I know that she is referring to the curse. So Rod lost his voice shortly after Viorica met Desmond. The mermaid's curse must have something to do with the tale. The little mermaid traded her voice for legs so that she could be with her prince. But that night, the only person who found their prince charming was Viorica. Rod's curse must have something to do with Desmond and Viorica. He became distant with her after finding out about Desmond. Why? Then there's the fact that he still spoke to Viorica, even if he was distant. It was only when he found out about their wedding that he became so cold. I found as I tried to organize my thoughts. How did it get to be this late? I'm so sorry, Lucette, but I do have to close the shop now. Actually, why doesn't she ask for a copy of the fairy tale? That way she knows for sure what it's about. Sorry for the story. I know it was something to do with Rod, but it was after that incident that he began to act so strangely. I don't think it was much help, but... I shake my head. You've told me what you could. Viorica walks me to the door, opening it so that both of us can step out into the street together. I really hope you're able to help Emmeline and Rod. I hope so too. Did you see Ophelia the other day? I caught sight of two noblewomen sitting on the bench together, not too far away from the toy shop. They're referring to Ophelia without her title. How disrespectful. I would have thought a peasant like her could almost look like royalty. But her dress... As the queen, she had to be wearing silks rather than satin. I do not know why, but I bristle at their comments. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. But the fact that they are speaking so bluntly in public means they have little worry of being overheard. I'm still not sure what the king saw in her. Well, you know what they say about ladies lacking natural beauty. Her talents must lie in other, more persuasive areas. Oh my god! Ugh! She was very persuasive indeed if the king saw it worthwhile to marry her. As the two women laugh, I feel something hot begin to burn in my stomach. Viorica takes in a short breath beside me. Since I became maiden in the palace, Ophelia has been nothing but kind to me, a mere servant. She has all the right to flaunt her status and title, yet she remains humble. I know this is why everyone in the palace loves her. A compliment like her can only keep a man's attention for so long. I start walking toward them without thinking. You tell him, Lucette! You tell him! Here we go. Lucette, I wouldn't... You have no right to say those things about the queen. The two women are clearly surprised at my interruption. Both of them glare at me. And you have no right to eavesdrop on us. Eavesdropping? Anyone could have heard you. Their mouths fall open. One of them looks at me for a long time, then sneers suddenly, as if something has occurred to her. I thought you looked familiar. You're the crown princess's personal maid. I see you always following her around when she's in town. This ain't your business, girl. Why do you care so much for our opinions? Ah, because the girl idolizes the queen. Thinks she might also go from rags to riches. What? Oh, you do have a point. They stand and advance toward me. Do you want the prince for yourself, girl? If a commoner can become the queen, it's not too difficult to imagine yourself as a princess, is it? How foolish! You're better off dreaming smaller dreams, girl. They laugh, and the irritation in my chest blazes into full-on anger. Is this what Ophelia's been dealing with for the past year? Just being treated so cruelly when she's done nothing but love the king. And I also ridiculed her just like this. I forced myself to look at the cruel women as I moved my hand to the pendant hanging around my neck. I was just as cruel as them. I barely could feel Viorica's hand as she rested against my shoulder. Lucette, let it go. Her Majesty wouldn't want you to do this. But I can't just let these two women talk about Ophelia like this. I pull away from Viorica and stand firm. The queen has a good heart. She's far more noble than either of you could ever hope to be. I think back on the times I was cruel to her. Ophelia could have easily reprimanded me for my behavior. She had that right as my stepmother, but she has been nothing but kind to me. Ophelia never got angry at me, even despite my treatment toward her and her family. She's always treated others with kindness, even when they are cruel to her. Judging from the bitterness in your accusations, it seems like you are jealous of her. How pathetic. The other woman marches toward me, and my free hand instinctively moves to hold her hand just before her palm reaches my cheek. Oh! Here we go. I would not tolerate any insults toward the queen. A soft light emanates from the pendant, and I could only stare at it in shock. I got another good deed? Yeah, you did, Lucette! Well done! By defending Ophelia? The woman snatches her hand away. How dare a peasant like you talk that way to us? Have you no manners? I could ask you the same. What happened to yours? How dare you? Don't you know who we are, girl? I will see you pay for your impertinence. Our words have far more weight than yours ever will. I would go to the king myself and tell him how rude you were. I could pass on that message myself. Oh! Yes! Yes, yes, yes! I turned and see Rod walking toward us, his expression cold. The two noblewomen hastily curtsy. Your Highness! The women turn pale as Rod's eyes fall on them. Actually, we have an important dinner engagement. Yes, we do. Two noblewomen curtsy before quickly departing. What are you doing here without your guards? What trouble have you gotten yourself into now? Oh, To tell or not to tell? Once again, that is the question. But you know what? This time, we gotta be honest, because those women deserve to be told off. Those women were insulting the queen. I thought a lecture was in order. Oh? But everyone's entitled to their own opinion. What? I narrow my eyes at him. Something like this can't be helped. Bad rumors are unavoidable. Rod looks away, his expression suddenly pained. This wouldn't have happened if I hadn't wished for... Oh, shoot! Oh, no. Oh, my God. What? So, it may not be about Viorica, but something else? Oh, my God. This is getting more interesting. Rod never finishes his sentence. He clears his throat before looking at us again. What was he going to say? We shouldn't keep you from returning home, Viorica. I'll take Lucette back to the palace. Viorica's eyes narrow, and she looks ready to say something, but Rod has already reached out for my hand to pull me along behind him. My eyes narrow as I recognize the path we are on. That is not the way back to the palace. No, it isn't. We're going to the march-in. Why? Because I was on my way there before I was forced to take a detour because someone was drawing attention to herself. What? But Rod ignores me and walked the rest of the way to the march-in in silence. Watts is the only person in the reception room when we enter. Prince Rod. Princess? It is a little late for the two of you to be here. I meant to be here earlier. Is Lady Parfait here? Waltz nods. I'll go get her. Wait here. As soon as Waltz leaves us alone, Rod turns to me, his expression rigid. Rod steps closer and grabs my shoulders. Oh, shoot! I wasn't able to say so earlier because we were out in public, but you should know just how much danger you're in now, and you thought it was okay to go around on your own? It was my day off today. It's not unreasonable for me to want time for myself. Time to yourself? Don't you understand the meaning of be careful? Why would you do something so foolish as going out into town alone? I can't help but bristle at his tone. Why are you so angry? Because you're... Rod trails off and looks away. Because you're family. So you're finally acknowledging me as family. I notice his cheeks turning red. To be honest, you're less of a family member and more just... important. Important? Because of all that you do for Emmeline. You're important to my sister. He looks uncomfortable as he says the words, and I cannot help but marvel at his embarrassment. Why is he so embarrassed? I wonder why! But Rod changes the topic as he turns away from me. Why were you with Viorica? I can only think of one reason you'd speak to her. My curse. You thought you'd find out about my curse through her? I shrug. I can only assume that your curse has something to do with Viorica. I look up when Rod says something, then stare at the curious sight before me. He's taken Sebi off his shoulders, holding the doll in his hands, away from his face. The two seem to be engaged in some silent conversation. Then gently, Sebi speaks words I can hear. This is the right thing to do. You need to let her help you, Rod. Oh boy, are we gonna get it this time? Oh gosh! Okay, here we go. Rod bites down his lower lip before briefly closing his eyes. Eventually returns Sebi to his usual spot in his shoulder, and turns to me. Fine. You're stubborn and you're not going to quit investigating unless I tell you, are you? You're right. Viorica is the reason I was cursed. Here we go! Okay. Rod sits down on the settee and lets out a heavy sigh. His eyes are far away as he speaks to me. I was in love with Viorica, but I wasn't brave enough to tell her. I just followed her around like some kind of puppy. I knew it! I knew it! One day Viorica hadn't come home and it was raining very heavily, so I went out to look for her. I found her walking along the bank of a river. I called out to her to tell her to be careful, but I don't think she ever heard me. She slipped and... Rod swallows. He clenches one of his hands into a fist. She fell into the river. I dived in after her. I somehow managed to get both of us onto the riverbank, but it didn't look like Viorica was breathing. I didn't know what to do. I started panicking. I ran off to try and find help, but I couldn't find anyone in the storm. When I returned, she was gone. I rushed to her house and the doctor was ready there tending to her along with... descendant. Rod's gaze is vacant as he nods. When Viorica began to fall in love with descendant, I felt helpless. Did you not tell her that you were the one that saved her? Why would I? Viorica was so happy believing that she and Desmond were fated to be together. I couldn't do that to her. But surely if you told her... Rod interrupts me. I want the people I love to be happy. I don't care if their happiness causes me pain. I'd rather bear that alone instead of bringing down those around me. Good God, you're no different from Emmeline then! Oh my goodness! Toxic tree, I'm telling you! My chest aches as I watch Rod's face. I never would have guessed that Rod would be so... selfless. But that didn't stop me from thinking that I could still make her love me instead. I decided to become what I thought Viorica wanted most. The Prince Charming of the fairy tales she so adored. And so I asked a witch to turn me into one. She stole my voice in exchange. Only then did I realize that she inflicted the Fairytale Curse upon me. The Mermaid's Curse. The next day, the king turned up at our house, proclaiming that he'd been looking for my mother for years, that he never stopped loving her. When the king married my mother, and became a prince, it was just as the witch promised. But it didn't matter. I didn't see it when I made the deal with the witch, but I could be blind to it forever. Desmond and Viorica really do love each other. They make each other happy. Nothing I can do will ever change that. Rod, Prince Rod! Oh! Parfait pauses in her tracks when she sees me. Have I interrupted something? Yeah, you did! Oh my gosh! Parfait, talk about bad timing. Goodness. Really, I should have used like telepathy or something to know that. Bad situation! Do not, like, revelations are coming! Don't talk, like, revelations are coming! Don't interrupt! Anyway. No. Rod moves over to Parfait when he stops to glance back at me. I won't be long. Parfait looks at Rod and then at me, her face puzzled, but she does not say a word as Rod and her leave the room. So that's why he thinks that this curse is incurable, because the original love that he had was not going to be fulfilled. I did not get the chance to discuss Rod's curse with him later that night. Not surprised. Nor did I get the chance to speak with Parfait and Delora about my suspicions about Sir Alcaster. Days go by, but I still find myself overwhelmed by preparations for the ball. Things become more frantic every day, making it difficult for me to have any time to speak with anyone. Eventually, I decide to write a letter containing my suspicions of Sir Alcaster. I tell Parfait and Delora that I believe he might be the witch we're looking for. I also add that I believe Fritz might somehow be involved. My suspicions are not as well founded with him. I don't think I don't think he said anything. Or if he did say something, I think he'd be the type that he would have been coerced, not out of choice. To make matters worse, he went and disappeared. I haven't heard anyone mention his name for a very long time. Oh. I'm forcefully pulled through my thoughts when I collided with someone. The linens I've been holding scatter all over the floor. Oh God, please do not be Mythos or Alcaster. Please do not be Mythos or Alcaster. Excuse me, I I look at my flip and my voice trails off when I see who I bump into. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. I'm actually terrified now. I knew it! Oh! Yeah. Last person I want to see right now. Lost in your thoughts. Sir Mithros looks at me, something veiled in his smiling eyes. I suppose those are the linens the Queen asked for. Yes, please excuse me. I begin gathering up the linens, but as I reach out for one, Sir Mithros picks it up first. Allow me to help you. No thank you! I'll be fine. But this is partially my fault. Let me assist you. Again! No thank you! I bite my lip and do not protest as Sir Mithros helps me gather the rest of the linens. I'm contemplating my schedule for the rest of the day when I realize that Sir Mithros has been talking. I don't suppose you have any idea on who that maid is. Maid? There is a cold amusement in Sir Mithros' gaze. Oh god, no. Surely you've heard the rumor of a young prince having been seen with a royal maid somewhere around town. Rumor has it that Prince Royal has found love among the common folk, much like his royal stepfather has. While with a maid, as far as I'm aware, the only maid he's been out in town with has been... I freeze as Sir Mithros straightens, patting down his clothes for dust before holding out some of the linens to me. If it is true, I wish him the best, though I wish he'd be more discreet about it. A royal scandal is the last thing we need right now. I shakily take the linens from Sir Mithros as he inclines his head to me. Have a good day, Lucette. I walk to the dining hall in a haze, my mind whirling with the implications of what Sir Mithros just said. I'm sure it was those noblewomen who spread this rumor. Oh, Lucette! Thank you for bringing these to me. Just leave them on the table. I curtsy after placing the linens down as commanded. If that is all, Lucette... I straighten to the tone of Ophelia's voice, and I look up to see that her expression is carefully still. I'm about to ask you something that you might not want to answer, but I very much hope you will. I will answer if I can. Good. Ophelia sighs as she sits down on one of the dining table chairs and folds her hands in her lap. I've been trying to ignore it since palace gossip is mostly false, but I can't help my curiosity. I wanted to ask you about your relationship with my son. Oh, what? I understand you and Raj were out together in town a few days ago. Do you want to tell me about what happened? Oh, shoot. This makes it harder. To explain or dismiss? To explain or dismiss? Oh, good lord. You know what? This is her mother. This is his mother. Like, I think she kind of needs to know the full truth, but on the other hand, no, considering that she's a royal now, it might be better to, like, try to find some way to diffuse it. God, this is a tricky one. Peeps, what do I say? What do I say? I'm actually really stuck on this one, everybody. I don't know what to do. I need an adult. Oh my god. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. On the one hand, I think she needs to know the full extent, but on the other hand, it's just like, oh god, considering that she doesn't know the extent of Rod's curse. She's a royal now, so there's a lot of logistical things that need to be corrected, and just... Yeah, people might have insulted her all the time, even when she first started. It's just, good God, this is hard. It's actually one that I'm actually stumped. The other ones are pretty, like, they had hard stuff, but it was pretty obvious where I wanted to go. With this one, I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. I mean, also considering Lucettes station right now, she's pretty low on the totem pole, so she could be the first. She could be the first to be eliminated, as well, if anything goes wrong. Oh my goodness, this is so hard. I don't know what to do. Oh. But you know what? I'm thinking we've got to protect the crown at any cost. And if that means kind of diverting a little bit, we might as well take the risk. So I'm thinking dismiss the gossip. I fight the urge to roll my eyes. How could Ophelia believe such nonsense? The rumors are baseless. Then Rod didn't step in to defend you from this noble woman? Oh my God! No! You know what? This is gonna be the day of the resets. You know what? Honestly, the best policy, I'm gonna say it. So Ophelia's asking me about these rumors, and I can only imagine what sort of story those women made up. Prince Rod was just on his way somewhere when he chanced upon me. When he saw that I was in trouble with two noblewomen, he stopped to intervene. That's all. Okay, that's actually a lot better. That works better. Rod said the same thing. Then, why did you ask me, Your Majesty? To see what you thought about the situation. I don't think anyone should get a say in what your relationship with Rod is. I love Ophelia already, like, so much from the get-go. My relationship with Rod? I like you, Lucette, and I'm certain that you're good for Rod. If I had my way, I'll let him court you. I feel heat in my cheeks as I trip over my words. Good thing I changed it. The prince and I are not in a relationship. A member of the royal family cannot end up with a servant. Where there's love, there's hope. Social status shouldn't stop you from being happy, Lucette. Then, what about the fact that I'm Rod's stepsister? Good point, but you're not blood related, so you have an excuse. I bite down on that statement fiercely. I already know what role I'm playing here, and I cannot break it. Ophelia looks at me with a complicated expression before she sighed. I will not push you on this any further. But be careful, Lucette. Your closeness with my son and daughter was not going unnoticed. I do not believe in eliminating relationships because of one's status, but I understand. I curtsy as I move toward the dining hall's entrance. What did Ophelia mean by that closeness not going unnoticed? Later that day, oof, I'm so used to saying later that night. Later that day, as I'm waiting outside the throne room for Emma Lane to finish one of her classes, two maids walk toward me and stop in front of me. Lucette, isn't it? What is it? I've already finished all my tasks for the day. Oh, I'm sure you have. We rushed through all of them so you can hang out around the prince and princess tonight. The housekeeper's been giving you a lighter load so you can afford time to play around, I blink at them, confused. I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't play dumb. All servants know what you've been doing. Just because your Princess Emma Lane's personal maid is making you better than the rest of us. I'd be careful not to get too big for your boots, Lucette. Are you threatening me? What if we are? Then I'd be very disappointed in you. Oh, wolves! Then I'd be very disappointed in you. Princess Emmeline! Emmeline moves to stand beside me, a disapproving expression on her face. I did not expect such petty cruelty from the two of you. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Your Highness... You really do have a talent for getting yourself into trouble. Rod? Rod pauses briefly, his eyes meeting mine for a second before he looks at the maids. Don't you have better things to do than to bully my sister's maid? We apologize, Your Highness. We'll be on our way. The two maids run off. Emmeline turns to look at me. Are you okay? I'm about to answer when I notice that Rod is abruptly walking away from us. I frown at his back. He'd only just started being nice to me, and now he's back to acting as if I did not exist. What did I do? Yeah, I feel like Lucettes kind of getting the shorter end of stick here, because like she's not doing anything on purpose, but it's just like she just happens to attract so much attention. Emmeline puts her hands under my back and gently pushes me forward. You wanted to ask him something, right? I could see it in your eyes. Emmeline smiles as she pushes the door to the throne room open. I have a few more questions to ask my teacher. I'll be a while. But she disappears into the throne room before I can finish. I glanced down the hallway Rod just disappeared down, and then back at the throne room. My thoughts roll together in a vague mess until I make my decision. Wait! At the sound of my approaching footsteps, Rod turns and looks at me. He scowls, but he does not say anything. Good Lord. All the tricky ones are happening this chapter. Why? You know what? I'm kind of tempted to make him do the first move by saying nothing. But on the other hand, though... Yeah, you know what? I'm leaning towards saying nothing because we're already having a problem with us being together in public. So maybe it might be better for him to make the first move. If he's not going to say anything to me, then... But on the other hand, though, Emmeline's all like, you wanted to ask him something, didn't you? But now's our chance! This is tricky. You know what? I'm going to risk it. If I get a bad end because of this, then that's how it goes. Let's do it. The words spill out of me before I can even think on them. What have I done now to make you angry at me? Nothing. He turns away and glares as I follow closely behind him. You expect me to believe that? You can't at least look at me when I'm talking to you. I reach out a hand to his elbow and pull him back so he's facing me. Rod... But the words die in my throat when I see the expression on his face. His face is red, and he refuses to look at me in the eye. My surprise causes me to release him. Rod quickly turns around and begins to walk away. Oh snap! I am left to stare dumbly after him. What is wrong with him? Normally he's not so afraid to speak his mind. I frown as I feel a dull ache throbbing somewhere deep in my chest. What is this? Why do I feel sad? Normally Rod's distance does not make me feel like this. And yet, now... Am I really so sad that he does not want to speak with me? I shake my head and take a deep breath to still my mind. It is better not to think about it. Goodness, already chapter 8! Chapter 8, the ball. Goodness, we are going through these chapters like this. It's day at the ball and I'm waiting for Emmeline to finish her last dance rehearsal. The lesson was over an hour ago, but Emmeline remains here to continue practicing the steps. Meanwhile, I am preoccupied with thoughts of Rod's curse. I cannot believe that Rod traded his voice for a title. For the reason the king was able to find Ophelia. It's because of Rod. Sorry about that. Ooh. It is a little difficult to wrap my head around the implications, but one thing bothers me. Rod told me why he has the curse, but he gave no explanation as to how to break it. How did it go in the original fairy tale? Emmeline finishes up the last steps of her routine before walking over to me. I hand her the glass of water I was holding out for her. Thank you, Lucette. Speaking of water. dilly. Emily must have noticed my curiosity because she stops to look at me quizzically. Is something the matter? I've read a little bit of that fairy tale, but never finished it. Can you tell me the whole story of the Little Mermaid? The Little Mermaid? Emmeline takes a seat on one of the chairs bordering the throne room and gestures at me to take the one opposite of her. Oops. Okay, I didn't skip anything. Good. Telling a fairy tale is always a good way to wind down. Once upon a time, there was a mermaid that fell in love with a handsome prince. One day, when she swam to the surface of the ocean to find him, she saw that the prince was celebrating his birthday on the grandest ship in the kingdom. The little mermaid was captivated by the human party and stayed to watch. And suddenly, a violent storm hit, and the prince was thrown from the ship into the ocean. The little mermaid saved the prince and took him safely to shore, but she could not stay long. She eventually had to return to the ocean and leave him on land. It is similar to Viorica's rescue. The little mermaid was so in love with the prince that she went to a seated witch who offered to trade her a potion that would turn the mermaid's tail into legs. They struck a deal. The mermaid would sacrifice her beautiful voice for legs so that she could live with the prince on land. So in Rod's case, he traded away his voice to become a prince. However, the sea witch gave the little mermaid a warning and said that if she wasn't able to make the prince fall in love with her, there would be consequences. Consequences? Yes. Namely, if the prince fell in love and married someone else, the mermaid's heart would break and she would dissolve into sea foam. I cannot help but recoil. My expressions betray my horror because Emmeline quickly shakes her head. There's no need to be worried. Rod said that his curse is different from the fairy tale. And you believe him? Emmeline shrugs helplessly as she puts down her now empty glass of water. The Fairytale Curse always twists the original fairy tale, right? Besides, it's not as if it's Rod traded his voice for legs, and I've never heard of a cursed person that dies because they cannot break their curse. That may be true, but Emmeline does not know what Rod traded his voice for. She does not know that he did it to become a prince for Viorica. Rod is always hiding things from her. Is it possible that Rod will die the day Viorica marries Desmond? Later that day, I find Rod in the dining hall. He appears to be inspecting the seating arrangements for the night's banquet. So I'm kind of wondering, if they were gonna put a twist for a non-fatal curse, what would it especially for the Little Mermaid? Because the Little Mermaid is Little Mermaid's a really dangerous one to handle. What twist would the witch have put into place to make sure he didn't die from it immediately? But then again, maybe this witch didn't care and just kept that stipulation in there anyway, since love was at stake, and he failed. Because there's some story like Megara kind of giving up her soul's freedom to try and get the man that she loved, but then it kind of was all in vain because the man loved somebody else. So anyway, he glances up briefly to look at me before returning his attention to the placards with the guests' names on them. What is it? I've been looking for you all morning. I'm distracted from what I am about to say when I notice Rod switching the position of the two placards. I frown as I catch the name on one of them. He's moving Viorica's place at the table. Is he trying to make sure she sits as far away from him as possible? Surely you have better things to do than stay in here. What happens if you cannot break your curse? Rod's movements stutter before he shakes his head sharply. That is something you do not need to know. Oh, goodness! Either way, it's the exact same thing. It's just how I want to go about it. Somehow getting angry doesn't seem to do anything with him, but then again, we haven't pleaded with him. But you know what? Let's try bleeding to his sensibilities. Something aches deep in my chest at Rod's coldness. Please. Rod startles so strongly that he almost drops the placard he's holding. Oh! Sympathy for the win. Here we go. Please tell me. That's why please is a magic word. We've been partners for months now. But I've barely... Yes, I know that it is an unusual partnership and most of our helping each other has been settled, but... I'm only one good deed away from breaking my curse, while you seem to be no closer to breaking your curse than when we started. I'll do whatever I can to help you with your curse, Rod. So please, let me help you. Silence falls. Moments later, Rod sighs and looks away from me. Some unspeakably sad emotion shines through his eyes. Even if I wanted your help, Lucette, there's nothing you can do. Dread settles in the pit of my stomach at Rod's words. Could I be right? Will Rod actually die because he's not managed to break his curse? Emmeline told me the story of the Little Mermaid. She says that the mermaid dies and the prince marries someone else. Rod, when Viorica marries Desmond, will you... No! Come on! Ugh! You door. Why do you interrupt good conversation? My voice trails off when I hear the sound of the door behind us. It's Ophelia or the king? Rod rushes forward and grabs me before I glance back at the door. Ow! I become aware of a weight holding me down to the floor. The impact of the ground against my head blurs my vision, making it impossible for me to see what is happening at first. Am I underneath the dining table? I struggle and try to sit up, but the weight pushes me down on me again, forcing me to be still. Quiet. Rod? Why did he push me underneath the table? I'm about to ask him aloud when the sound of footsteps silenced me. I can't help but remember what Sir Mithros was saying about the rumors. If Rod and I were seen alone together by the servants, the rumors would no doubt get worse. But why is Rod doing this? I stay quiet as the big people that enter the dining hall begin to talk. How strange this place to be empty at this time of day. There is a pause. Then another voice speaks up. You better have good news for me, Mithros. I knew it! I knew it! Alcaster and Mithros! Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithros? Rod's hands tighten on my shoulders. Everything is as you requested, Sir Alcaster. There should be no issues. There better not be. You disappointed me before, Mithros. I would be careful not to try my patience again. So, wait! Will somebody actually be right and the witch is Alcaster, not Mithros? Dang! Yes, Sir Alcaster. Sir Mithros sounds oddly subservient. But why? The two of them are both ranked equally, and neither of them should have answered to anyone other than the king. Unless Sir Alcaster truly is the witch and is forcing Sir Mithros to obey him with the spell. Wait a few minutes after I leave. We should not be seen together. I do not hear Sir Mithros respond, but I can hear Sir Alcaster leaving the room. Sir Mithros sighs out, but is otherwise silent when he leaves the room after a few moments. I exhale fully as the door finally closes behind Sir Mithros. So, oh my god! Lucette was actually right! That Alcaster's the witch! This is bad. I was so engrossed in Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithros' conversation that I only just now realized that Rod is hovering over me. Hey, are you alright? Are you hurt? You look a little... Rod suddenly pauses as he notices our positions. He stares at me for a few moments, eyes wide. He scrambles up from underneath the dining table. By the time I do the same, he's standing far away from me, his gaze fixed on the wall. He is bright red. It would be funny if I weren't sure I was the same color. Rod clears his throat. It seems that Sir Alcaster really is the witch if he has the ability to make Sir Mithros obey him. Lady Parfait should be told immediately. Rod turns on his heels and leaves the dining room. Rod, wait. What? This is urgent, Princess. I can't just... When Viorica marries Desmond, will you die? Rod pauses for a moment, but I can tell from his pained expression that he will not speak. You're running out of time, Rod. My eyes slip between Sebby and Rod. What does that mean? Nothing. He turns away from me once again and starts walking away. Rod? There's something in my voice that makes Rod stop because he turns to look at me. Please stop running away from this. What would knowing the answer achieve, Lucette? Though Rod's words are harsh, his tone is soft. There's nothing anyone can do. Leave it alone, Lucette. It's for the best. I can't help but get mad at Rod's submissive tone and move toward him, frowning. How can you say something like that? You're not the only person that will be affected if you keep refusing to do anything to break your curse. Can you imagine what your death would do to your sister, to your mother? Losing you would destroy them. Rod's face suddenly inches away from mine. He places his hands to the wall behind me, caging me in. His face is flushed with anger, but the look of his eyes is tormented. My family is dealing with the consequences of my actions the majority of my life. Don't think that I don't know what effect my curse has on the people closest to me. Besides, I don't want to involve you in this too. His voice is a whisper, but I can still hear his words. Rod pushes away from me and stalks off to stare after him. He says that, but he still does nothing to try and break his curse. I don't understand him at all. What is stopping him? Rod is absent from the palace for the rest of the day, and returns only once the sun is set to prepare for the ball. I've not been able to talk to him since, but I assume he has been to the march to tell Delora and Parfait about our suspicions of Sir Alcaster being a witch. Though, again, maybe Sir Mythos, maybe it's like a plot twist, like Sir Mythos is pretending to be subservient, but in actuality, he's the one who's the witch. But let's see. I hope I come up with an effective plan for dealing with him. His palace is not safe so long as he is here. The ball is just about to start that evening, and I've been asked to make sure none of the guests are lost and wandering the hallways. I've been walking around for a while, directing any late guests in the right direction. That should be everyone. But as I turn the corner, I notice two people lingering by a column. Excuse me, the throne room is... I pause when I look more closely at the two men in front of me. I recognize one of them instantly. Last person I want to see right now! What is Sir Alcaster doing outside of the throne room? And who's that man that he's with? Ah, Lucette. Sir Alcaster just reached toward him and I approach warily. This is Varg. He's one of the guests for the ball. Varg sweeps aside his cape as he bows, and I curtsy and tip my head to hide my expression. I have not heard of a Varg, and why would he be bowing to a mere maid? Also, why is he wearing such an elaborate costume and mask? This is not a masquerade ball. If Varg is an acquaintance of Sir Alcaster, there's no telling what or who he truly is. Varg is one of the suitors for Princess Emily. Would you please escort him to the throne room? I will be along shortly. Varg's politeness is even more suspicious. Could he be Fritz in disguise? That's my feeling. Of course, Sir Alcaster. I meet Varg's gaze briefly, and I can't help but frown at the way he's smirking at me. This way. Varg and I make our way toward the throne room. I cannot help but feel wary of the fact that he's following behind me where I cannot see him. If the maids are this lovely, the princess must be truly beautiful. Do you want to be in the same class as Amesbury? Because, oh my god, you just give me the squeaks right now. Varg laughs and I grit my teeth at the sound. What? I mean, it was meant as a compliment. No, it is not! There's no need to look at me like that. I'll look at you any way I please, thank you very much. Especially when it comes to irritation. Varg looks at me curiously. I Our maid's not allowed to speak in this place. I have nothing to say. You tell him. Not the most cheerful person on staff, are you? Thankfully, the doors to the throne room appear as soon as we turn a corner. I do not have to come with a response to his words. You tell him, Lucette, don't dignify him with a response. We are here. Okay, technically a response, but hey. It's not a response directly to him. I gesture toward the throne room and move to leave, but Varg's voice stops me. You should have very at least escort me inside and introduce me to the princess, don't you think? Isn't that what a maid should do? Technically, that is the announcer's job. But Varg came so late, he probably already missed the introductions. Everyone would think badly of any of the servants in the palace. I take a deep breath to calm myself down before turning toward the doors. Follow me. I can tell the moment I step into the room, the official introductions have already passed. Most of the guests have already begun to mingle and scatter across the throne room as the band sets up. No one notices when I walk into the throne room in front of Varg. I do not trust Varg, not if he's associated with Sir Alcaster. I agree. I might have time to warn someone about him while he's distracted, but who? We're Rod or warn Emmeline? Emmeline's too stressed right now. I'll say Rod. My eyes fall on Rod. I notice that he's leaning against one of the walls, away from the crowds. I head directly for him, moving quickly so that Varg is not right behind me. Rod? Rod frowns at me as I come to stand in front of him. What? There's a man here called Varg. I think Sir Alcaster brought him. Sir Alcaster? Apparently Varg was one of the suitors for Emmeline's hand. Rod glances past me at Varg, his eyes narrowed. Is that him? Is that Varg? When I turn back and follow his line of sight, I almost gasp in shock. Varg is bent over one of Emmeline's hands, clearly having just pressed a kiss to the back of it. She would have kept him away from Em. Shoot! Oh god, no! But Rod and I are not too far away from we can hear him clearly, so clearly this is going to lead to a bad end. But let's see how it pans out. But the throne room is already hushed at the sight of the crown princess being so boldly, directly addressed. They had the first dance, Your Highness. I feel sick, but I cannot bring myself to say anything more as Emmeline puts her hand in Varg's. I accept, Lord Varg. The moment Emmeline makes her way to the center of the dance floor, a man signals to the band and the musicians start playing. This feels wrong. I can only nod as I watch Varg pull Emmeline closer. At first it's just he and Emmeline dancing, but then the other couples gradually trickle in to join them. I do not like this at all. Rod and I watch in silence as the first dance continues on. I know for a fact that Rod must see the dreamy smile on Emmeline's face as certainly as I can. When the music stops, both of us move as one toward Emmeline. Either the dance is over and Varg has released her, they still stand close together in the center of the room. The silence is interrupted when the double doors open and Sir Alcaster, along with two knights, stalk into the corner of the room where Emmeline and Varg stand. Their arrival causes an easy stir in the crowds. The king rises from his throne, eyebrows drawn. Alcaster! Is there some kind of disturbance? Alcaster says nothing as the knights stationed around the room approach Emmeline and Varg and stand around them, encircling them. Emmeline's expression shifts from confusion to fear. The crowd becomes even more anxious. Alcaster! Explain this. Alcaster briefly glances at him, but says nothing. He turns back— Oh shoot! He turns back to his knights and snaps his fingers. The knights pull out their swords and point them at Emmeline. Em! I reach out to grab Rod's hand before he can make his way toward her. Rod! It's too dangerous! I know, but thoughtless actions are the potential to put Emmeline in even more danger. Rod's only response is to tighten his grip on my hand. I push my other hand over his to reassure him, and slowly but surely his grip begins to loosen. I turn my gaze back to the king. Alcaster, stop this immediately! What do you think you're doing? Something I should have done a long time ago. I've been nothing but loyal to his kingdom, and all I've ever wanted was for Angiel to thrive. But ever since the queen died, the kingdom has become weak. It's because you are a weak ruler, Gennaro. What? The people were more productive back then, more disciplined during the late queen's reign. The kingdom has become less productive without fear to drive them. But there is power, there is order. Power is not something to be needlessly used to control people. It is used to protect them. You of all people should know that. So Alcaster shakes his head. I, of all people, know that order is what makes a hierarchy stronger. I'm only doing what is necessary. I'm reorganizing the system. Hand over the crown, Gennaro. So Alcaster turns his head to Varg, who remains standing beside a scared Emmeline. You will obey me if you do not want your precious daughter if you do not want your precious daughter harmed. Please, leave my daughter out of this. Emmeline steps back, her eyes now brimming with tears. Varg, seize the princess! As soon as Sir Alcaster gives the order, Rod immediately lets go of my hand and rushes toward his sister. Rod, no! I quickly follow after him, but Rod suddenly stops in his tracks. I bump abruptly into his back. Rod? Varg! Sir Alcaster's booming voice echoes around the room, which has suddenly gone eerily silent. My eyes move to Varg, but he is standing motionless. What is happening? Finally, Varg smirks. He steps to the side, standing in front of Emmeline as to block her from view. Sir Varg... You must be delusional, old man. I'm not letting you anywhere near the princess. The next movements are a blur as they rush at Sir Alcaster. In mere moments, he has been disarmed and pinned to the ground. He's Fritz in disguise, isn't he? I knew it! I knew it! Several more knights have also appeared from behind to surround Sir Alcaster. And maybe those two people from the whatchamacallit, the March-in, maybe also be it. A man emerges in between the circle of knights. He moves to stand beside Varg and Emmeline. Sir Mithros looks at Sir Alcaster disdainfully. What is the meaning of this, Mithros? We have a deal. I knew it! I knew it! I knew it, I knew it, I knew it! Mithros was only pretending to be subservient when in actuality he's the powerful one. The anger is now palpable in Sir Alcaster's flushed face. Did we now? Mithros, explain yourself. Sir Mithros drops to one knee in front of the king. Of course, Your Majesty. He raised his head slightly to look at the king. I have known for a long while that the man you see before you is a traitor. I was even aware of his plans, but I could not tell you of them without any evidence. 2 of your knights have tried to inform you of these plans before, but we all looked down on them with disdain. The 2 people were banished to the March-in. There's the connection. I had to make sure I did not come unprepared like they did. Jurian and Garland? What? Both of them knew of Sir Alcaster's plans? Was that the reason they were dishonorably discharged? For false accusations? I knew enough of his plan that I could thwart it. This is why I thought the best way to reveal his dastardly lace was to craft a fake alliance with him. Oh shoot! So Mithras is actually protecting everybody? What? Smart! Sir Varg and I have been working together to unravel Alcaster's plans, Your Majesty. Varg is an invaluable accomplice. Wait, Sir Mithras has been pretending to work with Sir Alcaster this whole time? Shoot, Corkin's going to have a field day with this. And so we arrive at the events of tonight. I apologize for undertaking this task without seeking your counsel, Your Majesty. But I can think of no better way to end this madness once and for all. You lying snake! Sir Mithros stands and turns to Alcaster. He gestures at him dismissively. Seize him! The knight's next movements are a blur. The men rush Sir Alcaster all at once, and in mere moments Sir Alcaster has been disarmed and is now pinned to the ground. Isn't Sir Alcaster a witch? Why is he not using his magic? Unless, once again, Sir Mithros kind of wants to take out one element out of the game, and to make it easier to execute the plan out by himself, to get everything for the taking. Pretend Sir Alcaster is a betrayer, which he technically is. But Mithros, it makes it a lot easier. It's one less person Mithros will have to worry about in order to usurp the throne. Mithros, I'm still suspicious of you. That's way too suspicious. Mithros, I'm indebted to you for saving us. The whole kingdom is. I only did what was necessary, Your Majesty. The king glances at his knights, then at Sir Alcaster, his gaze steely. Take him away. Sir Alcaster struggles uselessly against the knights as they drag him away. He's nearly out the door when he starts screaming at the king. Gennaro, you are a fool! That man is a witch! A snake! You cannot trust him! That's one thing that Alcaster and I can agree upon. No, Alcaster. I was wrong to put my trust in you. Even as Sir Alcaster's proof in the room, we could hear him babbling in the hallways about a witch. Sir Alcaster never used any magic to escape. Was he truly not a witch? Are you alright, Princess? I'm pulled from my thoughts when I hear Varg's voice. He is now trying to comfort a shaken Emmeline. For a few moments he looks away and his eyes meet mine. He smiles but is fleeting, and moments later his attention is back on Emmeline. The ball comes to an abrupt end after Alcaster's stunt. He is thrown into a jail cell and promised a trial after a few days' time, where he will be tried for treason against the kingdom. I still can't believe Sir Alcaster would do something like that, and so brazenly too. I wonder, what happened to Sir Fitzgerald? They say he vanished completely last night. Do you think he was working with his father? The truth is I have no idea what to think. I thought I had everything figured out, but now I've become more and more confused by the moment. Fritz was always loyal to a fault, but then Sir Alcaster was the same way with the king. I have not seen or heard of Fritz for weeks. I cannot really say. Oh, good morning, Princess Emmeline. Sir Varg? Varg is off to a room at the palace for a few days' visit. He's being treated as Sir Mithras' valued guest. I've heard from the other servants that he is Sir Mithras' relative who lives in a neighboring kingdom. I hope that you're feeling well now, Princess. Yes, thank you for your help last night. Is Emmeline blushing? I know I won't be here long, but I do hope I get to know you better during the duration of my stay. I would love that. Then I'm looking forward to spending more time with you. Oh, I forgot that I'm meant to be in my mother's room right now. Lucette, Sir Varg, I'll see you both later. I curtsy as Emmeline walks off, leaving me alone with Varg. I cannot help but feel uneasy in his presence. Something about him puts me on edge. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Me too! Excuse me, I have errands to attend to. Wait. Before you head out, I have something to give you. Give me? Varg reaches out into one of his pockets and withdraws a letter that he holds out to me. What is this about? Well, I guess you have to find out and open it and find out, Princess. The blood turns to ice in my veins. He knows who I am, the princess. It can only mean that he is... I have no idea what you're talking about. Excuse me. I'm about to leave when Varg suddenly grabs my wrist. The play is about to start, Princess. You have a responsibility as the main character to perform impeccably until the very end. Good God, that is such a bad fourth wall break. Otherwise, well... He grins at me. It's the same wolfish smile that he flashed at me during the ball. No wonder! The North remembers. You might miss out on your fairy tale ending. What? Before I can say anything else, I feel a hand grip on my other arm. Someone tugs me back and away from Varg, then comes to stand in front of me. Stay away from her. Rod? Rod looks at Rod, then at me, his smile growing more crooked. What an interesting turn of events. I wonder how this will end for the both of you. Tell me, Lucette, what is he to you? Good Lord! You know what? I'm not gonna give you satisfaction to the response. I don't know. That No answer, Be in denial all you want. At the end of the day, you're going to have to decide who and what you will choose. Who or what to choose? Silence! You're harassing one of our staff members. Of course. I apologize for my rude behavior, Your Highness. You seem to know a lot about us. Are you a... Lower my voice. Are you a witch? You're asking the wrong person, Princess. He knows who you really are? I think you two are worrying up too much about me. After all, I'm just a pawn in this game. Varg dips into an elegant bow and flashes one last smile before walking away. Are you alright? I am. Thank you for helping me. You know I'd do anything for you. What? What? Rod shook his head before stepping away. Anything? For me? Rod coughs, pulling me from the thought. It's possible that he's a witch or that he's working for other It's possible that he is a witch, that he is working with other witches, but we have no evidence to prove it. Until we figure out what's going on, we need to be wary of him. I know. Rod smiles at me gently. This is getting more adventurous here. This look makes a heart thud once, painfully in my chest. Stop staring at me like that. Rod looks away, his cheeks tinged red. I feel my own cheeks warm at the sight. I wasn't staring at all. Both of you are hopeless. Shut up, Sebi. Rod gives me one last look before finally turning and walking away. I place my hand over my chest where I could still hear my thudding heartbeat. This feeling. If it is what I think it is, then I have no right to feel that way about him. Oh. He's my stepbrother. I shook my head to clear the thought, then glanced down at the letter that Varg just delivered to me. There's only one sentence written on it. Come to the throne room alone tonight. Chapter 9, the wedding, because I remember it was just the wedding's just after the ball, so this is it. The throne room is empty when I arrive. I can only hope this is not some sort of trap. Soon after I enter, the door squeaks open and a familiar face enters the room. Sir Mithros? Sir Mithros walks toward me. When he is close enough, he drops to one knee and bows. I frown to take a step back from him. The princess, do not be alarmed. I know of your true identity. Sir Mithros flashes me a wide smile that causes a shudder to run down my spine. You know who I am? That means that you are... I take another step back as the blood drains from my face. Sir Mithros' smile only widens at my reaction. I'll say it for you. Yes, I am a witch. I've been saying it all along, yet every sign! And sure enough... If you're a witch, then Sir Alcaster is a mere human. A fool one. And Varg? Nothing but a personal errand boy. It's thought suddenly occurs to me. If Sir Alcaster was plotting against the kingdom, then did Sir Mithros also punish Fritz somehow? What about Fritz? Was he a part of Sir Alcaster's plans? Ah, the knight. To avoid confusing you, let's just say that the situation surrounding him is too complicated to adequately explain. I command you to answer my question, Sir Mithros. Was Fritz a part of this? If it makes you feel any better, he refused to be a part of this. He refused? Does that mean he was not a part of the plans, or just that he was unwillingly forced to participate in them? I'm certain that Sir Alcaster would not be happy that his own son was disobeying him. He either forced him to help or sent him outside of the palace. But if Fritz knew of Sir Alcaster's plans, why did not warn anyone about them? Maybe it's because of the curse he's under, because he has a curse too. You totally forgot about that, Lucette. Was he working with Sir Mithros as well? More questions swirl in my head, but none of them have answers. When this is over, I will personally ask Fritz about this, once I can locate him. I shake the thoughts away and bring my attention back to Sir Mithros. Why bother with this reveal? What do you hope to gain from it? Before we start our conversation... Shoot, I knew it. Sir Mithros waves his hand, conjuring a faint green glow that envelops the whole room. Just in case someone decides to eavesdrop, I wouldn't want any of your witch friends listening in on us. Shoot. Yes, I'm aware that one of them has been snooping around the palace these past few months. Their snooping has made it more difficult to move around without exposing myself. Sir Mithros clicks his tongue in annoyance. Such a nuisance. He's referring to Delora. She and Parfait warned me before there was a witch in the palace. Is Sir Mithros truly that witch? He just said it earlier! Good God. I never really trusted him. Not even when I was a princess. Now that he's revealed himself as a witch, I need to know what plans he plans on doing. You knew that I was the princess this entire time, but you never offered me assistance. If I had, Alcaster would have targeted you as well. What? Alcaster wanted to dispose of the royal family. If he had known you were the princess, he would have been after you too. It would have been easier with no one remembering you as the princess. But unfortunately, Fritz told his father about you, thinking that Alcaster would be able to help him protect you. And it didn't help that Vard confirmed it. Your mother wouldn't have been happy with me if I put you in harm's way. That is why I had to pretend not to know you in order to protect you. Sir Mithras is silent for a few moments before he speaks again. Revealing myself to be a witch was necessary. I had to make myself appear useful to Alcaster somehow, after all. Then, of course, I learned about his foolish plans to steal the crown and decided to thwart them, though not before I stole something from Alcaster first. I played him like the fool like he was. I told him I would aid him with my magic so long as he gave me the knight's protection. Using magic is almost impossible in this place, so having the knights to back me up was crucial. The knights? What does he need the knight's protection for? What are his plans? Sir Mithras starts pacing the room, his expression still calm. I found out he had planned to dispose of me after he obtained what he needed, so I disposed of him first. Alcaster might be able to convince most of the knights to aid him by promising them promotions, but... well, my magic is far more convincing. Sir Mithras stops in front of me, his deadpan expression transforming into a smile. For now, let's desist speaking of my plans. The minute Alcaster's plans were thwarted, I knew I had to contact you directly. I am happy to see you in the palace, Your Highness. Although, we really need to get you out of those clothes soon. A maid's clothing does not befit a princess like yourself. That does not matter. The priority right now is to break my curse. Ah, of course. Then you must truly have been frightened to feel the need to curse you. I feel an uncomfortable tug in my heart. Oh, shoot! I think that the Lucis Bearer would actually allow a witch to curse you. Okay, Lucis, that was the other crystal that I was thinking of. And I know Parfait's the Lucis Bearer. Sir Mithras shakes his head, disgust written on his features. He suddenly disappeared that day. It was as if all traces of your existence had vanished. I searched for you endlessly, Princess. When you first appeared here in the palace, I did not recognize you immediately, but I felt a touch of magic in you and investigated. My curiosity is what prompted me to investigate you further, but I tried hard enough. I found that I could see through the glamour that had been cast on you. So the Miss Rose truly was the witch Parfait was referring to when she was someone seeing through the glamour. Imagine my surprise when I found out that it was actually you. That fairy bearer was nothing but a nuisance to us witches. First she betrayed your mother, and then she betrayed you before she'd even met you. But mother? She was a Tenebrarum bearer corrupted by darkness. Parfait only did what she had to. Sir Mithras looks at me, clearly surprised. But lies of those people whispering in your ear. Everything the Queen did, she did for us witches, to protect us from the wicked humans who destroyed our kind. It is clear to me where Sir Mithras' alliances lie. Sir Mithras sighs, runs a hand through his hair, and then continues speaking. On your 18th birthday, you will follow your footsteps. You will make this kingdom a place for all witches to prosper. I am nothing like her. I refuse to make people suffer to fuel the crystal. I never bore witness to the suffering the people had to go through during my mother's reign, but the stories are enough to reveal her true nature to me. It was hard to believe at first, but those people did not have any reason to lie to a servant like myself. They have nothing to gain from it. I understand why the hatred people had for me ran so deep even when I did nothing to them. It was because I was the witch's daughter. Your mother wouldn't be happy to hear you say that. Let me assure you this is not a destiny you can run from, dear princess. I will not let destiny take control of my life. I feigned tired for releasing a long yawn. Actually, I did need to yawn there. I'm sorry for cutting you short, Sir Mithras, but please excuse me. I am getting tired. I went to walk past Sir Mithras when he started speaking again, his voice a low whisper. I noticed you'd gotten close to the family so despised before, the prince included. I narrowed my eyes at him. You care about him, don't you? I must confess this surprises me, Princess. Such a relationship would certainly be a scandal. Even if you two are not blood-related, he is still your stepbrother. Whatever will your dear father say about this? I clenched my fists. He has no right to lecture me. I already know these feelings are wrong. I know that I cannot have them. I assure you that there is nothing between the both of us. Oh, is that so? Are those lies you utter just to convince yourself? This man is beginning to try my patience. Allow me to share a little secret with you, Princess. I'm not interested. I head through the door and reach for the knob. Oh, but I think it is something that you would be most curious about. I do, after all, know the consequences of the prince failing to break his curse. I also happen to know that someone special to him is getting married tomorrow. My hand freezes. How do you know all of this? I know all the happenings of this place. That is my job, Princess. Now tell me, do you know the ending to the fairy tale of the Little Mermaid? My blood runs cold when I remember what Emmeline told me about that fairy tale. If the prince fell in love and married someone else, the Little Mermaid's heart would break and she would dissolve into sea foam. I conducted my own investigation and actually met the witch who bestowed the curse on the prince. In meeting her, I found out everything there is to know about it. I turned to regard Mithras with a frown. Seems I've finally gotten your attention. What do you plan on doing to Rod? Sir Mithras shrugs. To him, nothing really. I was merely curious. I wanted to know what you saw in him. What do you know about his curse? It stays true to the Viorica. It stays true to the fairy tale. Only in this case, the prince gives up his choice to her title. Still, it will end the same way. The girl will fall in love with someone else, despite his sacrifice. You mean... On his beloved's wedding day, the prince will die. I had thought you might have reached the same conclusion. Tragic, don't you think? I had the same thought, but... Is Rod truly going to die? So the reason Rod gave up breaking his curse is because he knew that Viorica would never love him back. He knew he was going to die the moment Viorica married. Dread begins to wash over me. Why not asking yourself? As orchestrated by magic, the double doors open and Bod steps inside. When he sees me, his expression relaxes. I've been looking all over for you. I want to speak with you about my discussion with Lady Parfait. I turn around to face Sir Mithras once again, but to my surprise, he's already gone. Why did Sir Mithras leave? Lucette? Is something wrong? Was Sir Mithras really speaking the truth? God. You know, I might actually finish the game today, I'm going to go ahead with this. To ask or confront. You know, confronting has never gone well in this game so far. Maybe asking him would be better. Is it true that you will die when Viorica marries Desmond? Desmond? I see you're still stuck on the same theory. Have you been snooping around again? Please answer my question, Rod. And if I am, why do you not want anyone to help you fix this? I don't need to tell you everything, Lucette. His voice is now soft, his expression tired. I've been aware of another way to break my curse from the beginning, but I'd rather die than do what it is I need to do. Holy sh... Ooh. Is this another way? Do what? Have you not read? Rod's voice trails off when he sees my confused expression. He clears his throat. Forget it. There's nothing more you can do. The reason I never told anyone the truth of my curse is because I never wanted anyone to blame themselves for not being able to help me. I was already a lost cause when Viorica really fell in love with someone else. I could never take that happiness away from her. Rod becomes silent, his gaze downcast. The vulnerable expression catches me by surprise. You should have told me about your curse a long time ago. How many times was I repeating myself? Telling you about my curse won't change the outcome. I could have tried to help you. Why are you so insistent on helping me? Because I care about you. My face warms up when the words escape from my lips. Rod also flushes. What are you saying? That... I'm worried about you on Emily's behalf, of course. Do not want her to think that I'll let you die. Rod lets out a deep sigh. Just... stop talking. You are in no position to tell me what to do. Lucette... There was a hint of warning in his voice. You better let me help you or... My words are cut off and Rod puts his lips to mine. There's only a brief kiss and he pulls away. His usual somberness has returned. I told you to stop talking. I can only stare back at him, baffled. Rod, you do realize that you just kissed the princess? Rod looks at Seppi, then at me. His face colors once more. He takes a step back, his lips pressed together. I'm sorry. Without any other warning, Rod turns abruptly and stalks out of the room. Seppi falls on his shoulder and falls to the ground. Rod does not notice in his hurry to leave. I stare after him in shock. I can't believe he just ran away. I walk to where Seppi is and kneel down to pick him up. Are you alright? I'm fine. Thank you, Princess. Seppi tilts his head to the side. That Rod. I wonder when you'll start acting like a man. Somebody kissing a girl like that is so unromantic. I agree, Seppi. Boys, don't do that. Just be honest. I think about the warmth of Rod's lips pressed against mine and flesh again. Rod may not say much, but he has a lot going on in his head. Thoughts he doesn't ever want anyone to know. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I know he really does care about you, Princess. He's just a little standoffish and has a difficult time showing his emotions. He's sensitive like that. Take it from me. I'm always in his head. I care about him too, but what will become of my feelings once I break my curse? I'll return to being his stepsister when this is all over. Well, that could change, for all you know. I mean, have you heard from anybody who's broken their curses? No. It's not the time to mull over such thoughts. I'm sorry for asking this of you, Princess, but can you return me to Rod? That boy is useless without me. The exasperation in Seppi's voice makes me smile. Seppi acts like Rod's older sibling. Of course. But Rod does not open the door. I knock again. Rod's eyes widen as he sees me. His face flushes a dark crimson. I'm here to return Seppi. Rod nods before slowly taking Seppi from my hands. Thank you. Be careful not to drop me again next time. There's a hint of smile on Rod's face as he taps Seppi's face. Sorry. He looks so much more at ease when he smiles. Rod faces me again with an apologetic expression. Lucette, I really am sorry for what I did earlier. To apologize or not to apologize? That is the question. But you know what? He's been carrying this load for so long by himself. We kind of pushed him into it, but on the other hand, it's kind of not his fault. You know what? We pushed him. So maybe we should apologize. You know, we should. If you feel like doubt, just apologize anyway. It was my fault for talking too much. Now you should stop insisting on helping me. I refuse. Rod sighs. You really are stubborn. That makes the both of us. The hovering silence becomes more pronounced as we both stop talking. You said you wanted to talk with me about something you discussed with Lady Parfait? Yes. I meant to tell you that Delora will be here tomorrow to investigate. Now that they know Sir Alcaster is not the witch, we have to start our investigations over. Actually, about that, I know who the witch is. You do? It's Sir Mithros. He's the real witch. Sir Mithros? So when Sir Alcaster was throwing around accusations last night? They were true. Sir Mithros is also already aware that Delora has been investigating the palace. We need to warn her. They'll send Lady Parfait a quick message. We need to keep our guard up around him too. Especially you. She already knows that you're the crown princess. I nod in response. For now, we should wait for Delora to show up tomorrow. But it's getting late. We should go and get some rest. The moment he says the words, I realize he's correct. My eyelids are heavy. You're right. I think I shall take my leave. Good night, Lucette. Night, Rod. Moments after Rod closes the door, I hear a familiar voice whispering in my ear. Oh shoot! No! Ah, I see. I jump back in surprise and stare at him with wide eyes. Sir Mithros is leaning casually against one of the pedestals. So that is where the prince disappears to every now and then. I had no reason to care before, but now I see it. And I guess is correct. He is also in league with the Lucius bearer. When I do not answer, Sir Mithros smiles and shrugs. Well, it does not matter. A glance right as I notice the green shield from earlier. Once again, no one will hear this conversation. Now that the prince has confirmed your doubts, what will your next course of action be? You want to help him break his curse, yes? Rob may have given up on breaking his curse, but refused to do nothing. From the way Sir Mithros is taunting me, he must have known some other way to break the curse. Rob would not be happy about this, but he had to use whatever means necessary to save him. Do you know how to break his curse, Sir Mithros? Ah, I will assume that you have not read the full fairy tale if you do not know. Yes, Princess, I know. Tell me. Mithros cocks an eyebrow and waves a finger at me. Do you not realize by now how witches work, Princess? I propose a deal. I will help you, but you must help me with something in return. Help you? If you're planning on betraying the king. I have no plans taking the crown or harming any members of the royal family. What? Then what is it that you would want from me? I prefer keeping you in suspense. I do enjoy surprises. He's gonna ask her to be the new to pass on the Tenebrarum to him and continue her mom's chaos. Do not accept this, Lucette. Do not. You will find out the day after tomorrow. That is your 18th birthday. I look at him perplexed. It's just not put two and two together. Why does it have to be on my birthday? Don't worry, Your Highness. What I request from you will also make for a pleasant gift. What do you say? I bite my lower lips I consider. I'm worried about Sir Mithros' request, but I no longer have time. Viorica's marriage is tomorrow, and Sir Mithros has the upper hand. No! 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 I understand. Good. Remember, dear Lucette, witches are bound to their oaths. In order for the prince to regain his voice in life, so they must be taken by force, just like in the fairy tale. What does he mean by that? Tell me what I must do. Oh, I did forget to mention this, but it is not you who must act, but the prince. What? If Rod could help himself, he already would have done so. Please trust me, princess. You will have my aid, and I will make sure the prince's curse is broken. That is cruel. I do not like this. Today is Viorica's wedding day, and also the day Rod is destined to die. Sir Mithros explained his plan briefly last night. He told me he would have a valuable item delivered to Rod that he would need to use to break his curse. He further explained that it was something that he would need to use after the wedding. I tried to question him further, but he disappeared before I could, saying he needed to start his preparations. I did not completely trust him, but I am running out of time and have no choice right now. The royal family has left the palace to attend Viorica's wedding. It is unusual for a king to attend the noble's wedding, but Viorica is an exception given that she is one of Rod and Emmeline's best friends. Despite Sir Mithros' reassurance, I'm still restless. Sir Mithros told me everything would be alright, that Rod would not instantly die the moment Viorica got married. But why must he is involved in being reserved for a time after the wedding? Why does he not act now? Someone looks like they're in a bad mood. Dolores suddenly stands before me, smirking. Her appearance shocks me so badly I nearly drop the dishes in my hands. What impeccable timing! We've heard the prince about Mithros. No wonder I was iffy about the man. I should have realized he was the witch. Do you know him? Yes, I do. Dolores walks closer and places both of her hands on my shoulders. Listen to me, princess. I'm warning you. Stay away from Mithros. Do you understand? That man is a sly devil. He cannot be trusted. I take a deep breath and still my rapidly beating heart. I hope I will not regret asking for his help. Princess, I need you to promise me that you will stay away from Mithros. Yes, of course. Good. For the time being, I will resume my investigation. If I'm lucky, I'll find what Mithros hopes to accomplish. Actually, he's not in the palace right now. He went with the royal family to attend a wedding. A wedding, huh? How unusual. I can only assume he must be there at the wedding to help Rod. Well then, better make use of his absence while I can. I'll see you later, princess. When I'm left to my own thoughts, my mind returns to the issue of Rod's curse. Sir Mithros mentioned a similarity with the fairy tale, which means I may have a chance of finding out more. I decided to go to the library when I have the time to pick up the book. I'm now on my way back to my course with the book in hand when I see Rod walking toward me from the other side. His eyes are fixed on the floor, so he does not notice me as I approach. Rod? He's still alive! Does that mean Sir Mithros has succeeded? Oh, it's just you. Rod's voice still comes from Sebi. The realization instills a deep fear inside of me. He's still cursed. How much time does he have left? Much to my surprise, Rod actually smiles at me. The smile is forced, however, and has not reached his eyes. He looks crestfallen. You alright? I'm fine. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I'm tired, Lucette, so for tonight I just want to rest. Good night. Without waiting for my answer, Rod begins to walk away. A strange heaviness hangs in my chest. Why do I feel like this is the last time I will see him? I glance down the book in my hands and slowly open up to the last page of the Little Mermaid fairy tale. I start reading from the section where the mermaid sisters explain how to get her fins back. Take this knife. Before the sun rises, you must plunge it into the heart of the prince, and you will be a mermaid once again. The book falls from my hands and collapses to the floor. I stare at it dumbfounded. Wait, this means Rod needs to kill Viorica? And the item that Sir Mithros mentioned earlier, could it be the knife? I need to find him. I turned to start running in the direction of Rod's room in hopes that I would still be able to catch Sir Mithras there. When I come to the end of the hallway, however, it's not Mithras who stands by Rod's door. Emmeline? Emmeline is slowly walking in the direction of the throne room. Her movements seem oddly mechanical. Yeah, like she has that soul-detached look. I rush toward her. Princess Emmeline, where are you going? Must go to Rod. Why is she going to the throne room? Rod is back in his room. My eyes catch on something shining in Emmeline's hand. Oh shoot! My heart literally stops when I see that it is a knife. Emmeline, what are you? If he kills his beloved with his blade, his curse will break and he won't die. It is as if she's in a trance. Is this Sir Mithras' doing? Is she under one of his spells? Emmeline, snap out of it! Emmeline starts walking again, ignoring me. When I try to approach her again, thinking of stealing away the knife, a shadow suddenly comes to stand between us. Varg looms in front of me, smiling, smirking. Where did you come from? Let me through, Varg. No can do, princess. Don't you want to save the prince? I look at Emmeline, who's not even turned to glance at us. I glare at Varg, who is still standing in my way, grinning. Step aside, Varg. Ah, feisty. You are a far more interesting princess than your stepsister. I try to sidestep, but Varg follows my motions. I try again and again, but he just thwarts my progress. He holds his hands up in the air, eyebrows raised. Tell me, what would you do if I did let you go? Would you stop him from killing the girl? Rod would never kill her. He would never do anything to harm the person he loves. He refused to do it and... Ooh, whoops. He refused to do it and he has no reason to now. Varg is silent for a few moments as he considers. Interesting. He steps aside and bows. Go ahead then. You are letting me go? I like to see this play end as it may, without any strings attached. Chapter 10, Silent Farewell. I'm getting nervous now. Oh, God. When I push open the door, I find Rod kneeling down. Emmeline lies on the floor in front of him, unconscious. Emmeline! She's fine. She's just asleep. Something glints in Rod's hand. Even from this distance, I know that it is the same knife Emmeline was holding earlier. Out of the corner of my eye, I see someone slouched against one of the pillars. Viorica? I rush to her side, then sigh in relief when I see the gentle rise and fall of her chest. She's still alive. How did she get here? It was Sir Mithras' plan. I remember walking him back to my room after talking with you. I blacked out when I came to. I was already in here with Viorica. I already checked in on her. She seems to be under some kind of sleeping spell. Em came in just a few moments ago, passed me the knife, and then simply collapsed there begging me to kill Viorica. I think Em is under a spell as well. Rod glances down at the knife in his hand, expression glassy. Em almost convinced me. She pleaded that I not leave any of them behind. It's not as if I want to die and leave my family, but... He stares at the knife for a few moments, then curses as he slammed his fist into the ground. I can't kill her. Why would Sir Mithras want me to do this? Guilt floods my chest, making it difficult to breathe. I was the one who asked Sir Mithras to help Rod. He said he knew how to break his curse. But I did not realize that in order to break his curse, he needed to kill the person he loved. I relied entirely on the story Emmeline told me, and that was my biggest mistake. I should have read the full fairy tale. I could never kill her. Such a shame. Sir Mithras emerges from the shadows, looking at us with disappointment. To break his curse, Prince Rod must kill his beloved with the life his sister has brought him. Just like in the fairy tale. Oh, snap! Even got down to that portion, too! Ooh, I should have figured that out. Mithras turns to Rod. Here I thought your sister might be able to change your mind. You were, after all, supposed to do this on your own accord. I was wrong. I should have underestimated your stubbornness. Casting a spell on you would have solved this problem entirely. Why are you doing this? Well, Sir Mithras shifts his gaze to me. Rob follows his gaze to me and raises his eyebrows. There's no use lying to him now. I asked Sir Mithras to help me break your curse. You what? I didn't know you were meant to kill Viorica. Rod shakes his head, his face marred with disappointment. Anyone who tries to help me will inevitably make things harder for me, Lucette. I've wanted to help you, Rod. I've already made up my mind. If you really want to help me, then please respect my decision. Please. Shame. You know, I thought I would be witnessing a dramatic finale tonight. Oh my god. So Mithras starts to walk away. I was about to chase him, but then I realized there's something else he could do. Rod has made his decision. I felt my heart plummet as I slowly nodded at him. So, there really is no other way. I can never break my curse like this. Viorica was my first love, and my good friend. And besides that, my love for her has faded a long time ago. She's been replaced. You've been my beloved for quite some time already, Lucette. Woo! But it doesn't matter, does it? I will die soon. God. I feel a heavy weight on my chest, as some force is crushing my heart. I'm sorry. I promised myself that I would save your life, but I failed. But you know, that's when someone's stipulation changed. Since his beloved changed, even though this is the curse I established way earlier, since his beloved changed, it's entirely possible that he still may be able to live. But, I don't know. I felt like the tears that are brimming in my eyes. Rod stands, then moves over to stand before me. He places a hand on my cheek. You've done nothing wrong, Lucette. So please, don't blame yourself. What did I expect to happen? Even if Rod had killed Viorica today, he would have carried that burden for the rest of his life. She's in tears, my god! You know, because I asked a witch to make him do something he did not want to do in the first place. Fra reaches for Sebi and places him in my hands. Once the clock strikes 12, I'm going to disappear. It's really a shame that I'll be disappearing on your birthday. It would have been nice to celebrate this one with you. Ah! Promise you'll take care of my family for me. There must be another way. It can't go just yet. I'm sorry, Lucette. I cannot even begin myself to consider what's happening. Panic engulfs my senses as I stare at Rod, who's becoming translucent. Rod, you are... If only I could be with you and everyone else a bit longer. Despite the fact that his words waver, when Rod looks at me, his smile is bright and warm. A vision blurs as tears gather in my eyes. I like you, Lucette. If I had more time together, I think I would have grown to truly love you. In the next instant, his body is dissolved into soft orbs of light. The light gathers in the air, then begins to fade. I'm so sorry. What? What? No! Bad ends! Oh, shoot! Oh, shoot! Oh! Oh my god, that gives me chills. Bad ends! Good god! Oh! Oh, I knew it had to be a bad end, but oh my god! Gosh, that gave me chills. Oh, I knew it. So that means if I go back steps earlier, I need to warn Emmeline. But my god, oh! Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, oh my god, honestly, I can't end right there. Oh god, yeah. I don't know what it is. Red and black text against each other, especially in games, it makes me have goosebumps. Like something bad is going to happen. Like, oh god. But just, oh god, I knew that had to be the bad ending. Just, oh. Yeah, Mom? Sure. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to end it here. I don't want to though, but yeah, we got the first bad ending of the game. Oh God, I'm probably gonna be rocking myself for a few minutes. But you know what? No, I can't leave it here. It's gonna give me nightmares if I leave it here. So I'm gonna take a little brief break, and stay tuned for part 6. Part 6. Stay tuned for part 6 of Cinderella Phenomenon. We got a first bad ending, but I know where to course correct now, so we can fix this up, okay? We are going to make sure Lucette and Rod come together and make a happy family with Sebby. We'll find a way. We'll find a way. I know it. Lucette, this is not the sad end for you. I promise. But anyway, here are the socials that I have. Please feel free to message any of them. My Twitter is what I use the most frequently. I also have Twitch, and Discord as well. And feel free to donate. The proceeds will go towards my radio show and restarting that. And here are the events that I will show up next besides Odunde today. BlurredCon happening next month, and Baltimore Comic Con, which is happening in September. Which is not bad. The prices are not bad. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode. I'm sorry. I wish I could provide you tissues. Here's a virtual tissue. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon for part 6. Okay? Bye. I'm not gonna leave you with sad end, I promise. Okay? Bye.